Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
In the world of business, there are just certain red flags that pop up that you shouldn't ignore, that tend to be a strong indication that there's something wrong with your business model, right? A good example of one, well, I can't afford good accounting. So, I'd love to have a great accountant who gives me accurate financial data so I can run my business more effectively, but I can't afford it. Well, that's a red flag, right? You're not supposed to be running a business that can't afford to get accounting right. Like if that's the reality of where you are, there's something wrong with your business model that you need to fix. A good business model has space and budget for good accounting. Like if that's not you, your business model's broken. Like it's a red flag. And to me, needing to fund your business with a HELOC on your personal residence, that's a red flag that says there's something wrong with your business model.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I love that distinction. Like, are you taking on debt to cover losses, or are you taking on debt to, manage cash flow or for opportunities, to expand and grow, right?
Yeah. And nobody will put that up faster than a banker, by the way. So they will get to the bottom of that fast.
Yeah. I mean, that's another great indication. If the banker's not funding you, you might not have a good business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to kind of pivot a little bit, talk about cash efficiency and just making the most of our cash.
Yeah.
Let's talk about cash leaks. How can you find, in your finances where you might be leaking cash unnecessarily?
Having the right business model that allows you to afford the right accountants. That is by far the easiest way to identify leaking cash in your business, is having somebody in the accounting seat who knows what they're doing and is putting good data in front of the business owner every single month that clearly spells out exactly where all of the money in the business is going.
Just in passing on that same line too, are you taking a salary or are you just getting by taking draws? If you're taking draws, your business model, right? Would you agree with that, Luke?
Depends on your business structure. I mean, if you're an LLC structured as an S corp, for example, and you're only taking draws and you're not paying yourself a salary,
that's what I'm talking about.
Now, yeah, it's not even just a business model problem. It's a tax liability problem. You're legally not allowed to do that. You are required by internal revenue code to pay yourself a reasonable salary. It's not optional. It's not optional, right? It's like you hear people talk about 1099 employees. It's like, that's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a 1099 employee. You either have W-2 employees or you have 1099 contractors. It's not something you get to elect whether or not your employees are 1099 or W-2. And so many people think it's just, it's elective. I get to pick. Do I want to pay sales tax or do I want to pay payroll tax or not on my employees? Well, if it was that simple, everybody would choose not to pay payroll tax, right? It's not. It's regulated. You don't have a choice. You have to do it.
But it's certainly out there.
100%.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's such what you've done with yourself when you're just taking draws, is you're a 1099 employee. And that's not legal. Okay. So
we talked about red flags earlier. Like that's another one. Like you say, I have to do 1099s because I can't afford to pay payroll tax. Red flag, business model, broken. Something's not right.
Yeah. You got to increase your margins. And if you can't increase your margins, then you might not have a good business, right?
Yeah. Which is funny, because if you told most business owners you could double your margin, but it would cut your revenue in half, would you do it? Most of them would say no. Because they want the revenue. They want the revenue.
I got a little chart. I just put it away. It's a client I had today that his revenue take a nosedive, but his profitability it's up a little bit. I mean, gross numbers. And people go, what happened? What happened? Well, he just became much more efficient.
100%.
Made more money on fewer sales. Anyway, it's good that you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so you had mentioned you have to have a good accountant in place who's putting those things before you. what are some common things that you would see where the cash is actually leaking? Like, what are some common areas that you see?
Well, yeah, I'll give you some examples from clients we're actually working with. And it's not like super complex, sophisticated things like you think. It's just people being asleep at the wheel, not paying attention, right? It's unused subscriptions, software we're still paying for that nobody uses. Like, what's the software? What
Yeah.
do we use it for? I don't know. Nobody knows. We're just always been paying for it. It's things like employees abusing expense policies. There's no real system in place to monitor employee reimbursements. How much mileage are they reimbursing? Is it reasonable? Is it accurate? If they have fuel cards for company vehicles, how do we know that they're only buying gas for company vehicles? Like, is anybody going and looking at the statement and saying, oh, hey, this employee had 2 fuel purchases for $80 each on a Sunday? Like, well, gee, red flag anybody, right? It's stuff like that of just people not paying attention, not having effective systems, processes, and controls in place to manage spend.
Yeah, that's good. No, and Martin, you told me about that fuel service that just comes by and fills the trucks up. That's a great reason to get something like that.
Yeah.
Comes overnight, fuels up all the trucks. You don't have to have gas cards what people can
Yeah.
use whenever, you just have one gas payment.
Well, and they also don't drive by the convenience store
station.
every morning,
Yeah.
coming and going.
Well, there's also now there's platforms out there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a platform called ramp.com.
Mhm.
They offer employee expense cards that have some really cool technology attached to them where you can set really specific limits for employees. So you can give an employee an expense card and put a limit on there that you are only allowed to use this card for $80 in fuel once per week, period. That's it. And if they take that card to the gas station and they buy $75 worth of gas for the company vehicle, then they go inside and try to buy a candy bar, it'll process the payment for the fuel and it will reject the payment for the candy bar. Like, you can get really specific with the controls that you put around that stuff.
That's really cool. I like that. Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.